Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, Len.
I talked to Joe. He said he's going to be on the call with us.
Oh,
So that's a good thing.
wow.
In fact, that's him there, I think, 7992.
Yeah, I'm here, Lenny.
Hey, Joe, thanks for being on there.
No problem.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Bruce.
Hi, Lenny.
All right, we got Cheryl, Peter, Lenny, Mike. We got four at least. Well, Mike. Who's okay? So who is TYCHE?
I'm just hosting the meeting.
Oh, okay, great. And who's 7417477?
That's me. I'm Tom Barry. I'm from the Ashford Lake Property Owners
Tom
Association.
Barry. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
See, my name's not showing up there, just a number.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Did everybody get the minutes from that April 5th meeting? Yep. Good.
Yes.
Okay, looks like it's 7 o'clock. So we'll open the Ashford Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission regularly scheduled meeting for Tuesday, June 7th. It's a virtual meeting. Item number 1 is to seat the alternates. Michael, we'll have you sit for Jack Barkley, and Bob Broussard. Welcome, by the way, Bob.
Thank you.
You can sit for Ray Fenn.
Thanks, Len.
Great.
Thank
Okay,
you.
item number 2 is to review and approve the minutes of the April 5th regularly scheduled meeting. Uh, Do any, since everybody seems to have read the minutes already, is there any corrections or additions? Anybody like to make any comments?
This is Peter. I move we accept them as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to accept them as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
second. Bob?
Michael, I think you were the loudest. I don't know if you were first, but you're the loudest.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so Valerie, we have a motion by Peter and a second by Michael to approve them as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, looks like a motion passed unanimously. You still with us, Valerie?
Yes,
Great, thank you. Okay, item number 3 is additions to the agenda. I would like to, well, are there any additions, Joe? Do you have anything new or? I don't have anything to add to it. The only thing I would like to say at this point is that we do have a sort of a guest with us. His name is Bruce Fitzback. And Bruce is, I think I sent around Bruce's sort of resume to everybody. Did you all see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we've been looking, as you all know, unfortunately, Joe has decided to leave our great commission here, and we're going to miss him a great deal. And so I want the first, I'd like to have the record show that we have a great appreciation for all the great work that Joe has done for us in the past, and we wish him well in his future endeavors. And Joe, I just can't say enough about how much we enjoyed having you with us and how much we're going to miss you. So although we don't really need a vote, but if everybody says, anybody wants to add anything to that? Okay, so Valerie, if you could put something like that in the minutes for us, that would be great. So over the last month or so, I've been communicating with the first selectman and let them know that Joe is leaving and that we really do need to have someone to take his place. And I think that we found someone that's very well qualified. His name is Bruce Fitzback. Bruce, they all have your little resume that you sent me. Why don't you give us a little quick background on what you and you know, how you think you can help this commission?
Well, with the experience I've had on the Wetlands Commission and as a land surveyor and on construction sites and whatnot, I think I've got enough background to give you folks a hand. Was on my commission for 20 years and 14 of it I was the chair. Now I'm working for the town as the agent. Liking that pretty much. They keep throwing more stuff at me. Of course, I took the place of a town planner, so I expect to get loaded down pretty good. But no, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy protecting the environment. Being a land surveyor, I tend to lean towards development. So as long as we do it safely, properly, protect the wetlands, I think everybody should be able to do what they want to do.
Right. Yes, thank you. And I'm just looking at the your resume, and it is really pretty good, So you're working for the town of Putnam right now,
Yes.
as the wetland agent and the planning commission agent and the aquifer protection agent and the zoning agent for certain components of the regulations. So you
Yeah.
really have your hands full. Do you think you can, you have enough time for Ashford?
Yeah, I get out on 1 o'clock on Fridays and I can throw that at you, plus I get the rest of the weekend, so we can take care of it. I know our Wetlands Commission isn't very busy. Looking through some of the agendas here and whatnot, it looks like you're not terribly busy either, so yeah, I think you can keep it under control.
Okay, and So if we needed you to, do a site walk some evening, or if you got a call, maybe the wetlands office got a call and there was maybe a violation of some kind, you would be able to field that call and maybe go
Yeah.
visit the site
Yeah.
if needed to during the week.
Yeah,
Um,
without a problem. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you've got the time we need. We meet, the first Tuesday of each month, and we'll definitely need you that time. And then we sort of went over briefly what I would expect you to do, just the nuts and bolts of it, about the agenda and like that. So, and it's all, you're all familiar with all that. So,
Yeah.
all right. So let me just go quickly around the table. We'll start with Peter. Peter, do you have any questions for Bruce?
Nope, nope. I say welcome.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Bob, do you have any questions for Bruce?
What you already asked the question I had, which was about time availability.
Good. Michael, how about you?
All set. Thanks, Lon.
Cheryl?
No, I'm good. Welcome.
Great. Okay, so I spoke to the first selectman, and he said that Rick, you're there.
Yeah.
Rick, do you know Bruce at all? Bruce Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Okay, and if he were to take Joe's place, you think he could do a good job?
I think so, yeah. Nobody's going to replace Joe, but
Yeah, I just said his job,
we'll get the
not
best
Joe.
we can get,
Yeah, nobody's replacing Joe, but his job, he could.
Yeah,
Do you have any
yeah.
questions for Bruce, Rick?
No, I don't. I'm all set.
Okay, and Joe, I know you know Bruce. How do you think he'd fit in with us?
I think it'll be a good fit. That's why I recommended him.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'd like the minutes to reflect that we introduced Bruce Fitzpatrick as a possible replacement for the wetlands agent in place of Joe Thoreau, and that all the members present this evening had a chance to ask questions, and we've gotten two very good recommendations, one from Rick and one from Joe. Both of them know him, and that's very helpful to me. So we'll take a quick straw vote. All those in favor of us suggesting to the Board of Selectmen that we have them give further consideration to Bruce, raise your hand or say aye, or
Aye.
aye. Everybody. Okay. All right. So Valerie, you got that? I don't want to go too fast for you.
No, I've got it.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. All right. If there's no other additions to the agenda, then let's move on to old business, which is the 96 Knott Highway wetland remediation. Joe, we still have a cease and desist order in place on that property. And from what I know so far, I think you said that there is some action now finally taking place out there. Can you give us a little update?
Yeah, technically, we do not have a cease and desist order there. We gave them a permit, so they have a permit to do the remediation. I met out there last week with them, with the fellow that has been tasked with putting all these fencing in and signage and things like that. We met on site, and initially he put up the fencing all the way around the perimeter behind the vehicles and behind the existing buildings. However, it wasn't built to spec. Unfortunately, he did not get handed the plans to do it. They just told him, go out there and build a fence. So anyways, I emailed them copies of the entire application, specs and things like that. And then I met with them. So Where it was left last week was that they were going to be building the fence to spec. They hadn't placed jolly blocks on the northern end of the site like they were supposed to. So that was going to get done. And the only other thing that needed to be done other than those two things was the wetland signage. I gave them a stack of the wetland boundary markers that we have, because pretty much the fence runs along pretty much along the edge of the wetland delineation. So he was going to put those on each and every fence post, and I think they're actually at a 10-foot spacing, so it'll be really obvious. And then the last thing is the wetland plantings, and I put him in touch with the soil scientist that did the remediation plan, George Logan, and I recommended that he get in touch with George so that he could find out where to buy the wetland plants and, you know, where to plant them and et cetera. So that's where everything's at with that.
Good.
So
Okay.
they are working at it. They are within pretty close to within their time frame. I think if they get those wetland plantings in the next couple of weeks, it shouldn't be a problem. Right there, you know, it's heavily vegetated right now. The native vegetation is like exploded over there because of the changes in the canopy. They took all the overstory trees out, so I don't think there's going to be any issues with the plantings, provided they're done correctly.
Great. Good report, Joe. Thank you. So, so Joe, you know, I'm going to take you up on your offer to, you know, give us some selective assistance, and assuming that Bruce is going to be accepted by the Board of Selectmen, I'm wondering if the two of you, you know, maybe, you know, 2 weeks out from now, if you guys could get together, and one of the things you could do would be to go to the 96 knot highway and introduce Bruce to, you know, what was happening out there, give him, fill him in on the history of it, and, you know, make sure he's got phone numbers and contact information so that he can report back on it next month. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. And again, all that material is in the file as well too. So
Right.
even if he wants to look at it prior to that or something, he can, you know, all that info is in there. But yeah, I have no worries about looking at it with him.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on item number 4 here, the 96 knot highway? We'll just go around the room here. Peter, it looks like you're first on my screen. You got any
Yeah.
questions?
I'm glad it's finally getting going up there, because that's
Yep.
been a long time dragging around. So that's
Good.
good. It's moving. So
Okay. Rick, how about you? You're still muted, Rick.
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, same thing. I'm glad that there's some activity up there. We've got to do something, and we have. So hopefully this will continue to progress, and we'll get this thing squared away.
Great. Bob, how about you?
I really don't have anything to add. I wasn't involved in the initial discussion,
Yeah.
as you know.
Great. Michael, anything from you?
Nope, no questions.
Okay. And Cheryl?
Yeah, the only thing is that my recollection was that when we approved the permit back like a year ago, we did vote to leave the violation in place until such time as they had completed the remediation. So although they do have a permit to maintain the material, I believe that was contingent upon them completing remediation. So that's my only comment. But I am also very glad to see that they're moving on it, even though it's 6 months past the required date.
Yeah. Joe, if you get a chance, maybe you can just check on that if the notice to violation is still in effect or not, so that.
Well, yeah, there are two different things, Lenny. A notice of violation is completely different than a cease and desist order. So
Okay.
we lifted this. I believe we lifted the cease and desist order, because if there's a cease and desist order, you can't do any work on the property. So the
Right.
notice of violation is still in place. So what I would
Okay.
recommend is once, once the site is inspected and the commission is okay with the remediation and the fencing and the jolly blocks and the signage, then you lift the notice of violation off the
Okay.
property. And then that
Yeah.
that's your strong arm technique. That way, if they want to sell the property or something like that, there's no notice of violation attached to the deed.
Okay. So Valerie, would you please make a note that the notice of violation is still in place and that we should, just make a note of that for the minutes, just to remind us next time. Okay, are there any other questions or comments? So the only other thing I would say is that Joe or Bruce, if you guys do get out there, if one of you may take a couple of pictures, just so we would have them for next month, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay, all right. Item number 5 is new business. We have a new application in front of us. It's the Ashford Lake Owners Association, construction of drainage features on Ashford Lake Drive. Spoke with Joe a little bit about this, and he said that he has been out there. He visited the site. He's spoken to the people involved, and I know there's a representative here right now, but Joe, why don't you give us a brief overview, and then we can talk to Tom after that, okay?
Yep. If you guys will, I don't know if you're, how many people have the plans in front of you or not. Sheet number 3 is kind of like an overview. It was done by Wentworth Engineers. It's kind of an overview of the whole project site, and it's probably the easiest sheet to look at to try to do an explanation. Essentially, what's happening out there is all the property that is to the west of Ashford Lake Drive is one entire big drainage basin, and all the water wants to flow downhill. And when they built Ashford Lake Drive, it made a really nice dam, and it holds that water real well. So their initial drainage system was not probably worked back in 1950 or 1960, whatever. Currently, it is not working. Last year, they had some pretty serious water issues where the drainage system did not handle the water, and it flowed to the east over certain portions of Ashford Lake Drive and just washed out driveways and lawns and all kinds of things. So they figured out that they needed to redo this system, or at least improve it. So if you look at your site plan, they got the site basically divided into 2 phases: phase 1 to the south, phase 2 to the north. And what their intention is to construct another swale on the west side of Ashford Lake Drive to intercept water. In phase 1, they're going to put in I think it's an 18-inch. Correct me if I'm wrong here anywhere on this, but yeah, 18-inch pipe, which is hopefully going to handle the flows better than what's in there now. I'm not sure what's in there now. Tom, do you know what's in there now?
Where the new pipe's going?
Yeah,
Or-
phase 1. There's no pipe there now at all, right?
No. Phase 1, all the water goes to the pipe that's in the phase 2 segment. So there's
Okay.
nothing to take that water away. And
Yep.
the new and the pipe that's proposed is going to be an 18-inch pipe.
Yep. So the hope is that the Wes Wentworth, the engineer, he did the hydraulic calculations, and it looks like hopefully the 18-inch pipe that's going to be installed in phase 1 is going to relieve the demand on the phase 2 pipe that's existing. And if everything goes great, they will not have to do phase 2. But obviously they're permitting right now for both phases where they're going to replace phase 2 pipe if needed, and obviously do improvements to the drainage swale on the west side.
Okay. Tom, you have anything further to add, overview?
No, that was a pretty good summary that Joe just gave you. The existing pipe that takes all the water from the entire area is a 15-inch pipe that was installed by a homeowner a good many years ago, before a lot of the property up the hill was developed. There's probably about a half dozen houses that are there now that were not there when the original drainage pipe was installed way back when. I don't have any idea what the date is, but it was a long time ago. And it obviously can't manage the amount of water that's coming down from the hill and from the road. So that's why we need to make some modifications and additions.
So, Tom, this is an association project. It's got nothing to do with the town at this point, right?
Correct.
And you have all the easements and the owners of the properties, they're all informed of what's happening out there, and they understand the phasing and the purpose of the project?
Yes, they have. The only catch is that one of the properties that's affected in the phase one part of this is under contract to be sold to a new person. So obviously we'll have to talk to that individual when the property transfers. The seller didn't want to get into it as to affect, the sale
Yeah.
or the ability of the property at this point.
Right. So
But I doubt if there'll be any opposition, because these people have suffered through lots of issues over the years, and it just came to a head last summer with the extreme conditions that we had, where there was very serious property damage to both the land and people's homes.
Okay.
Everybody there had water in their basements and so forth that they wouldn't normally get.
So Joe, let me ask you a question. So the application, that is signed by the Lake Association?
Yes, both actually. It's we have signatures from the Lake Association, but we also have permission from the owners of number 30, Ashford Lake Drive, which is the property that is going to have the pipe installed on the phase one, and we also have signatures from the landowner up on number 40 Ashford Lake Drive, which, in case they have to do phase two, we have permission for that as well. So you won't be issuing a permit on a piece of property that you don't have a right to do that on.
And is there any work on that lot 12 across the street?
What? 12.
On the west side of Ashford Lake Drive?
I see lot 10, lot 6, and lot 1. I
Or
don't
maybe
see
it's
a lot
10.
12.
I can't read
There's
it. I
only
see
just a lot
13. Yeah, so maybe it's 10.
There's an
Where-
existing home on 10. It's not depicted on the map.
Okay. So is there any
And-
work?
6 is
Looks like
vacant.
it's lot 6. Yeah. That's
So the-
across the street.
Right, so the words that say phase one, phase two, what lot is that on?
Um,
On the west side?
on the west side, lot
Lot
6.
6.
Yeah.
6?
It looks like if I'm reading the plan correctly, it looks like the lot line is depicted. It shows the drainage improvements on the right of way for Ashford Lake Drive. It might be like on the very northern section. It looks like there might be some grading on the corner of the property. It's hard to tell at this scale. And then
So I just want to be clear. So we have two letters to, I guess, to me, saying that we have permission to go on the property and view the work. But that's for the two buildings that we see where the work is actually going on. And I just want to make sure that, we're only accepting the application this evening, but, for next month, I just want to make sure that if there's any work being done on any other property, that we also get similar type permission, so that, if we are inclined to grant a permit with, with some sort of conditions, that it's going to apply to all the properties. I understand what you're saying about, properties under contract and all, but, that's kind of critical. If I'm buying a piece of property and someone's not telling me that there's going to be a swale or pipes or something, I might want to reconsider the price. I don't want to be involved in, some sort of a purchase property problem. I'm not saying it right, but you kind of understand what I'm saying. So Tom,
Yeah, Lenny, we have signatures from number 30 and number 40 to do those work on that property at this point, so.
Right, and
what
and
happens
40,
is-
right, the
with
40 is
wetlands
the one that's
permit-
being sold?
No,
No, number 30 is being
30.
sold, and one of the
Okay.
things you have to understand is that wetlands permits run with,
With the
The
land,
property.
yeah. Right. But if they sell the property between today and next month, right, then we have permission from, we only have a permission, but we don't have, we haven't issued the permit at that point, so.
well,
I just
yeah,
don't
you
want to
have.
do anything that's,
Yeah, you've issued a permit with a property, so if
Yeah.
if next month number 30 is owned by Joe Smith instead of John Doe, it's an issue between the Ashford Lake Owners Association and John Doe.
yeah, that's where
Your
I'm
permit-
coming,
you're-
that's
as far as
what
the
I'm
town
getting
is
at.
concerned, you're issuing a permit for a piece of property, and if there's an issue that they don't want it done or something, well, then that's a civil
Yeah.
matter between
Good.
two other entities.
Exactly.
yeah, if I could interject, that's always been the understanding in the discussions we've had with all these property owners. They always have final veto power. And then we just tell them, well, next time your property floods, don't come to us.
Right.
Because we had a remedy and you rejected it. So what we're doing basically is getting everything in order, and then assuming the property owners are in agreement, we do the improvements to everyone's mutual benefit. One other thing I just want to clarify, anything to the, other than the two, number 30 and number 40, none of these other properties are affected in any way. Everything to the west side, like that lot 6, which is vacant land, nothing's going to affect those lots because the right of way is actually 50 feet, and nothing that we're working on is going to extend beyond the 50-foot right of way, which is Ashford Lake Drive, with the exception of the new pipe that's going to traverse house number 30's land.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's go around the room again. Peter, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions? And realizing it's just accepting the application. Go ahead, Peter.
Realizing, at this time, since I haven't got a copy of the plan, so I really can't ask any questions at the moment.
Okay. Valerie, did you send the plans around to everybody? Did Peter, Valerie?
I sent whatever you asked me to send.
Yeah, because
Actually, Lenny, I sent out copies of everything to everybody.
yeah. So Peter, why don't you check your inbox there? If you still don't have it, give me a call tomorrow and I'll send you another one.
Yeah, I have to get the paper copy from the town hall. That's the only way it's going to work for me.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, Rick, do you have any questions, comments? Rick?
There we go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. I'd really like to have a full copy. I might have some questions. I do have the digital copy, and there seems to be some stuff lacking, but I'm not going to take that stand at this moment. I'll go either print on my plotter or pick up a full size 24 by 26 at the town hall.
Good.
There are
FYI, there are four hard copies on my desk at the town hall. So as long as one stays there, you guys can fight over them.
Yeah, I can print them at the office too. It's all right. But yeah, at this point, I don't have questions, but I do anticipate questions next month.
Okay. Bob, how about you?
No questions. I struggled with the scale of what I was able to get digitally, but I figured it out over time. So it's good practice for me, just getting started.
Good. Michael?
Yeah, I do have a couple quick questions, Len. So the swale that's there currently, is that, what is the condition of that? Is it just grass at this point?
Yes.
And, go ahead.
It's a shallow grassy swale, and the issue with the entire stretch there is that it's virtually level. So the water goes in and then comes out. It doesn't go where it's supposed to.
Okay. And so how often, I know that the pipe that's up there and in the phase 2 area that's existing is undersized, but how often, like in an average rainstorm, let's say we get a half an inch of rain tonight, which looks like might be a possibility. Do you think that pipe is going to flow, the existing pipe that's there?
Yes.
It will flow in a small storm like this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We did have another issue with the single pipe that exists now this winter because it blocked at the lake end from ice, and it backed up, and water on top of snow came over the road, and we had to have someone come out and clear the pipe. So
Gotcha.
it's not just a summer rain situation. The single pipe that exists now that handles all of it is just inadequate, and any blockages will cause a problem.
Okay. Kind of like Rick, I may have some more questions next time. I agree with the overall goal here to facilitate large storm drainage to avoid damage to the property and everything. But if there are any opportunities to try to do a little water quality treatment here, I think it's a good place to do that, especially anticipating that down the road there may be development on that west side of this road. So doing something now that could handle development on that other side would be beneficial to the lake. So, as it stands right now, there may be a little bit of infiltration that's happening there, but I'd kind of like to see if there is an opportunity to do some of that with the upgrade there, in addition to having the larger pipe to convey the large storms. So that's just something we can talk a little more about maybe. And the riprap swale that's proposed, I don't see that being very easy to maintain, to clean out, as it's, if you've ever tried to shovel dirt out of riprap, it's not easy. So I don't know if there's something that can be done with that design to just make it a little easier to maintain, to keep it flowing freely. And the last question I just had was on the erosion and sediment control. I see the dash lines on there for the stake hay bales and the silt fence. And I don't know if it was just left out one that's closer down to the water line there, but if I would just like to see something closer to the water line as well.
Thank you, Mike. Just a quick, Tom, could you make some notes as to things that Mike just brought up, and maybe speak to the engineer about, did they take into consideration, future development on the west side? Is the pipes in the swales adequate for future? And water quality questions that we might ask next month. Okay, Cheryl, you're last. Get any questions, comments?
Yeah, first of all, I would like one of those. I would like to fight over one of those hard copy. I like to color my plans, and I don't have a large scale printer, so I can barely see it. So I'd like to stop by and get one. Hopefully, maybe Joe, you can let us know where who we should talk to get those. Also,
Yeah, they're actually right on my desk in my cubicle there. So
okay. I don't exactly know where that is, but if I just check in with anybody, they can help me. I guess.
yeah, if you go into the land use office, she'll send you right over.
Okay, terrific. And I wanted to echo Mike's questions about water quality, stormwater quality. As I said, I couldn't really see the plans very well. So was difficult for me to really formulate anything, but I did notice that the engineering report consisted of about maybe 2 pages, which was the drainage areas and 1 sheet of computations. Normally, I would hope to see a narrative from the engineer talking about how they designed the project and why they chose, for instance, in this case, the 2-year storm for their computations, and perhaps even what happens during that 2-year storm, what kind of flow they would expect to see throughout the system, and what that might do to, as I said, for stormwater quality. As Mike said, that the riprap swale is great, but for slowing velocities, but it won't really be easy to clean out. So yeah, just some discussion about the decisions that were made and sort of the purpose of the project, although Joe gave a really good summary, but normally I would have hoped to see that actually somewhere in the application so that it can a little bit on its own.
I think when you get to view the plan on a larger scale, that'll shed more light on things like water quality control and so forth, because there are some catch basins and so forth to pick up sediment before the water exits the end of the line. And I believe they're depicted on there, but you can't really make out those kinds of details on the tiny version. So check out the large plan, and I'll talk to the engineer, and I'll see if I can get some more information for you in relation to what you just asked.
Wonderful, thank you. That's all I have.
Rick, you got a question?
Yeah, I do. Will the engineer be at the meeting next month?
He wasn't planning to. I could probably arrange that if you think that would be helpful. Sure.
I think it would be helpful. And I think that we do have some questions. One thing that occurred to me as I listened to Mike and Cheryl is that I don't know if it's possible, but I'd love to see some pre-treatment on the on the inlet side of that pipe. It's going to be tough to treat on the outlet end. It's going to go right into the lake. So if there's some potential for some level of pre-treatment, I'd leave that to him to determine. But I'd sure like to hear his thoughts on it and what could be done.
Okay, sure. Will it be a virtual meeting like tonight?
Most likely.
Okay, that'd probably be easier for him.
Sometimes not. And Cheryl, if you need a copy, just give me a call. You can stop at my office. I'll print one for you. It's right next door.
Okay, so is there any further questions? So what about a site walk? Would anybody like to do a site walk on this one?
I would.
Yeah,
Okay.
we probably should.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
So would Friday be a possibility for anybody, like around 5 o'clock or 5:30 at the latest Friday? That's something everybody can do.
I can't do this Friday, unfortunately. I'm tied up with a job candidate for work.
Okay.
I'm gonna go run and get my calendar.
What's that, Cheryl? Oh,
You get in the calendar.
okay. And
I
what's
can-
another date next week? Would Tuesday work? Just but Tuesday at the 5:30 next week?
I have graduations next week.
Oh.
I
Okay.
got 3 of them to go to in
Okay.
New Jersey, in Milford, and Colchester. So
Wow. All
like
right.
all of next week, I'm tied up.
I see. Okay. Cheryl, what's your schedule like?
When?
Well, Friday first and
On
then
Friday, I'm free.
free. And
If Friday
Michael-
works for most, Len, I'm fine to just take a look at it on my own time and hear the comments from others. I can talk to Cheryl too, as
Okay.
I'm just right up the
Bob?
road from her.
Thank you, Bob. Friday work for you, Bob?
Friday works for me. You said
And Rick?
5:30?
5:30?
I think I can do Friday. It's gonna be tight. If I can't, I will stop out there on my own and or talk to Cheryl or
Okay,
Kel. But I
All
think
right. And Peter, is Friday good for you or not?
Friday, 5 o'clock or 5:30 is okay.
Good. And so Tom, would you be around at Friday around between, 5:30 at the latest to kind of go through it with us? And if you have a full set of plans, would be good.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So Bruce, you're welcome to come Friday if you're available. So it
would
looks like we'll schedule a site walk for this coming Friday at 5:30. And Tom will be there with a full set of plans and just give us a quick overview. And anybody that cannot make it, if you can take a look at the full-size plans and maybe speak to someone that had been there or just wait till next month. Okay,
Where should we meet?
right at the site, right there, between
Meet at
40 and
number
30.
30. Meet at house number 30. That would be the most.
Yep, Ashford
Okay.
Lake Drive. Okay,
All right.
okay. Well, it looks like this may be the last agents report from Joe. So Joe, you have anything to report?
Yeah, the only outstanding issue I have, I think.
Oh, wait a
really
minute.
that
I'm
needs
sorry.
to be-
Hold on, Joe. So
Oh.
I forgot. So we're all done with the new business. So all those in favor, or is there a motion to accept
I'll
the
make the
application?
motion, Peter.
Okay, Peter accepts it.
I'll second.
Second. Who's that?
Rick Zulik.
Rick, okay. Second. All those in favor of accepting the application as presented?
Aye.
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 Carol, everybody. Okay, great. Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Joe. Go ahead.
No, good catch, Lenny. So the only outstanding thing I have, I think it needs to be addressed, is with Ashford Lake, and it's the whole Campert Drive drainage issue there. The drainage issues along that road have been visited and revisited with like 3 different selectmen now, and essentially nothing is still happening. And it's a problematic issue on several fronts between landowners and the Ashford Lake Association and the town DPW as well. And I think, everybody needs to get together and get on the same page and get this thing fixed, because, there are storm events there where, there's enough chocolate milk covered water, squirting into Ashford Lake. If this was an issue with a private landowner, we would be issuing cease and desist orders until the cows came home. And nothing's getting done. And I don't think it's a complex fix, but something needs to be done. The Ashford Lake Association has met with their own engineer. We have conceptive plans that show, modifications that can kind of help or possibly even fix this issue. But nothing's happening on the town end of things. And I think that's the primary issue that needs to be addressed right now. Whether it's paving the road or permanently fixing the drainage system, something needs to happen there.
Okay, so Joe, if you could, maybe, you can bring Bruce up to speed and show him, the various places where we've attempted to do work around that lake.
Yep. Yep.
And show him, where the files are for it.
Yep.
Tom, you're familiar with all the various projects out there, right?
Right, yeah. And if I might just interject, I'd like to thank Joe for raising that issue tonight. It wasn't something I was going to throw at you, but he and I have had discussions about this for a good long time. It was 2018 when we did some improvements to our drainage system out here, and there were recommendations for Campert Lane back then. And I've been working with, or trying to work with, a number of the first selectmen and the public works person, and nobody seems to have any interest whatsoever in addressing the issues that exist there. There are letters on file to various individuals outlining in specific detail what the problems are. I've got videos of storms and turbid water washing into the lake from up top and everything. So it's been an issue for a long time, but the town doesn't seem to have any interest in addressing it, no matter how much we seem to bring it to their attention.
Yeah.
So in fact, you know, if anybody on the commission here would just go out to Campert Lane, not Campert Drive, that's one of our roads. It's Campert Lane. It goes from north down the hill until it intersects with the lake roads. Just take a drive down there. The problems are apparent. So
Tom, would you happen to have a decent sized map of the whole Ashford Lake area? What I'm thinking is that when we're out there Friday, it might be a good time to maybe just do a quick overview of, you know, the various problems and projects that have gone on, kind of give everybody a good sense of where everything is. Would that be, would you be able to help us out, or at least have some time to drive around a little bit?
yeah, well, we can visit the site for this application that we're putting
Yeah.
in, and then I can take you over to Campert if there's time,
Yeah,
and show you what we're dealing with over there.
good. Okay,
Be happy
Yep.
to.
Rick,
Excuse me, Tom, is a silly question, but is Ashford Lake Drive a town road or?
No, all the roads are our own private roads.
Okay, who plows them?
Mansfield Tree Service plows them.
Okay, so they're not town roads, they're not plowed, they're not
Yeah.
maintained by the town.
No, that's what's frustrating about trying to get something done on Campert Lane, because the town doesn't do anything for Ashford Lake residents in terms of our roads. Zero. We don't require anything from the town. We do all our drainage, we do all our paving, we do all our grading, all our improvements, we do all our snow plowing. The town doesn't have to touch them. The only town vehicle that comes on the road is the ambulance, which we appreciate, but.
Tom, can I interject a question?
Yes, certainly.
The portion of that Campert Lane, though, is actually town road, is it not?
All of Campert Lane is the town road from North Road to the base of the hill. Yeah,
Right, that's
all town road.
what's creating that is what's creating the problem.
Yeah,
It's not your road that is creating the problem. It's the drainage issues and the slopes and the non-paved issues on the road that are causing the problem. So just to clarify that, Rick, it's not their road that's causing the problem. It's the town road.
the
Yeah, I just
town road.
wondered, I thought it was
caused
a
the
town road.
problem.
I thought it was a town road and I just wondered why it hadn't been resolved by the town prior to this. But it's not. Okay, well, it'll be fun to look at during our site walk.
now, Joe, I thought that the town did do some drainage work out there, or am I?
Well, they did, Lenny, and one of the unfortunately, one of the issues is that there are private landowners up there that are resistant to that type of work, and that's the frustration that Joe, the DPW director, has to deal with. Basically, what it is, it's a gravel road which is insloped, which collects all the water to the inside of the road, and it creates a big flume of muddy, silty, sediment-laden water, and it goes down. And what the town did is they created a sediment basin, which does a decent job of trapping some of the sediment, but not all of it. Complicate matters, we have landowners up there that don't want to drive through a little bit of a ditch to go in their driveway, so they fill it in. And then the water bounces out of the swale into the middle of the road, collects sediment over 50% of the road, and washes back into the swale before it hits the end of the hill and we got it all over again. So, that's the big issue. And, another complication or matter is that there are properties for sale. So people are putting culvert pipes in, these are all things that need to be addressed.
Okay, so the town, it's not as if the town is completely ignoring the problem. Part of the problem is that some of the landowners, who I'm assuming are part of that association, they're not part of the association?
No.
Okay.
None of the landowners on Camper Lane are part of the association.
And so, Joe, is there any work that could possibly be done to help this that's on land of the association?
Very
Well-
minor, because once you get to the bottom of the, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but where the association property picks up, it's at the bottom of the hill.
Right.
And some of these drainage features, like several, like a daisy chain of sediment basins, or again, I'm not an engineer, I'm not going to design it, but some of these sediment, two-bay sediment basins or whatever, they would most likely be constructed on Ashford Lake right of ways. But again, the problem is uphill, and it's being caused by, again, I hate to say it, but yeah, the town needs to get on this. I've been talking to Joe for a while. I've talked with 3 different selectmen on it, and nobody wants to spend the money on it. But it's a town road; it needs to be maintained, and it's a steep slope, and it doesn't need to be a gravel road. It needs to be something paved with real engineered drainage features.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like Friday then is very important for people. If you can make it, that would be really good. And Bruce, if you can be there, that would be a big help.
I will.
And Tom, whatever plans or maps you have to kind of help orient everybody, that would be very helpful.
Sure. Now, I didn't mean to suggest that the town has virtually ignored us entirely.
Yeah.
That they put in, as Joe said, a couple of riprap sediment catch basins, and they do come out and scoop them out periodically. But they've done, like minor maintenance issues, and they just fix things, when there's damage, but they don't address the root of the problem, so you don't have.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. So we'll get to the bottom of it, hopefully on Friday. Joe, any further report for us?
No, I have no other issues.
Okay. All right, then we'll move on to item 7, members' comments. Any members have any comments this evening? Don't see any heads bobbing or hands up. So we'll move to item 8, which is adjournment. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting. Cheryl?
All right, thanks for calling.
Peter, you motion to adjourn?
Sorry, I had to answer the phone. My doctor was calling.
Oh, boy, that's more important.
I have an appointment with a doctor Friday, so they got to call to remind me.
Okay,
All right. No, we're all set. I'll
all
see you
right. So
Friday after.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'm in favor of that. Yes, I'll
Okay.
do that.
And then Michael, you want to second that?
Sure, I'll second that.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now, do we need to post a notice about the upcoming site walk visit on Friday? Joe?
It needs to be posted.
Posted where?
What you should be prepared to do is take meeting minutes in case you have a quorum. So if you guys
Yep.
show up to do a site walk and you have a quorum there, then
Yeah.
one of you should be taking meeting minutes, so what time the
Right.
site walk started, what you looked at, that type of thing. But no,
Yeah.
you don't have to post it.
Okay, all right.
Actually, I thought we actually do have to post our site walks. That we talked about that the last time we had one. I think Cheryl Baker actually used to help us do that.
Yeah, I think you're right, Cheryl. That's why I asked the question.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
So, Joe, as a final act of kindness, I wonder if you could contact Karen Zulik. She's the one that's been helping me with the agenda, and maybe just
Yeah, I got her email because I did send her all the information for the for the revised agenda.
Okay.
What's the meeting time and date again?
5:30 Friday. And we're going to be meeting at 30 Ashford Lake Drive. And then we'll possibly look at other areas around the Ashford Lake.
Camper Lane. Yep.
Camper Lane, and yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll send that to her. No problem.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So we've adjourned the meeting. So hey, thanks for all the help. Bruce, give me a call tomorrow. We'll just kind of hit some highlights. And Valerie, when you get those draft minutes, please send them to me as soon as you can. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.